Imagine the ground beneath your feet, vibrating with a deafening, rhythmic clicking. The sky is suddenly blocked by thousands of shimmering, serrated wings, 2 meters tall. Covered in armor, mandibles the size of chainsaws, and in hunger that never, ever ends. If grasshoppers grew to 2 meters, would we be the dominant species anymore? Would our cities become their feeding grounds? Would humanity survive the first 48 hours of this insect apocalypse? The earth is shaking, the crops are vanishing, and the streets are becoming a war zone. This is the nightmare of a planet unbalanced. Every terrifying answer is in this video. 2 meters is taller than the average professional basketball player. But unlike a human, a grasshopper has an exoskeleton, 6 barbed legs, and compound eyes that track movement in 360 degrees. A grasshopper at this scale weighs over 200 kilograms. The physics of it is terrifying. They wouldn't just jump, they would vault entire houses. Every leap is an earthquake. Can they actually exist at this size? In our atmosphere, insects are limited by oxygen intake. If they reached meters, they would need massive, pressurized oxygen vents along their bodies to move. They would look less like bugs and more like armored, hissing steam engines of muscle and chitin, moving with a biological efficiency that is completely alien to mammals. Grasshoppers are usually herbivorous, but at 2 meters tall, with mandibles designed to shear through tough stalks. The definition of plant versus meat becomes very blurred and very dangerous. They don't have personalities or affection. They have hardwired instincts: eat, reproduce, swarm. That is the fundamental, terrifying difference between a giant cat and a giant grasshopper. The first casualties aren't just crops. They are the structures holding up our roads and homes. A 2-meter bug doesn't care about your property rights. It cares about the cellulose in your wooden walls. Within hours, the infrastructure crisis begins. Grasshoppers chew through wood, drywall, and plastic. Your house is essentially a buffet to them, and they don't stop until they are full. Every suburban neighborhood becomes a construction zone for giant insects. They don't mean to destroy cities. They are just clearing the overgrowth of our civilization with terrifying efficiency. Roads are damaged by their barbed, spiked legs. Their jumping force is so violent that every time one leaps, it cracks asphalt like a jackhammer, turning our transit system into a ruin. Bridges, parking lots, and foundations fail. The sheer weight of a swarm landing on a roof turns a multi-story building into a pile of rubble in seconds. We retreat to steel and concrete bunkers. The cities we spent centuries building become traps. The world outside the window is no longer ours, and we are forced to hide. Now, the food supply. A single 2-meter grasshopper consumes 50 kilograms of plant matter per day. The math is simple, and the implications are catastrophic for human survival. Multiply that by millions. Global agriculture is wiped out in a single afternoon. The wheat, the corn, the soyet, all vanishes into the mandibles of the swarm, leaving us starving. Famine hits globally, not in years, but in days. The supply chains are severed as transport routes are blocked by swarms the size of mountain ranges. We have no way to ship food. The ecological twist. Grasshoppers aren't solitary. They turn into locusts. The locust plague of history becomes an extinction-level event right now. Nature attempts to compensate. Predators, like birds and small mammals, are instantly outcompeted. The giant grasshopper reigns supreme, and the food chain is shattered beyond repair. Nations panic. Borders mean nothing when the enemy moves by air. Defense strategies are completely rewritten in real time, but nothing is effective against a plague this large. Tropical nations are hit first. The humid, warm environments allow for rapid breeding cycles. The grasshopper zones are declared around the equator, effectively writing off entire countries. Developed nations try to use technology. Drones, satellites, and high-altitude thermal imaging become the only way to track where the swarms will strike next, but it is never fast enough. You cannot negotiate with a grasshopper. You cannot bribe it. You cannot reason with it. Diplomacy is replaced by pure survival calculus, and we are losing the math. Can the military stop them? They are armored tanks. Conventional small arms fire bounces right off their chitin, and they keep moving forward without even noticing the shots. The military resorts to heavy artillery, chemical defoliants, and even thermobaric weapons. The cost of war is the destruction of the very land we are trying to save. They are fast, they are incredibly agile, and they are everywhere at once. A swarm doesn't have a single base to attack. It is a fluid, living, eating tide of destruction. We realize that grasshoppers have a terrifying psychological edge. They make a sound that vibrates in our skulls, a high-pitched screeching hum that induces panic in every human. Military doctrine shifts from victory to containment. We build electrified high-frequency sound barriers to try and keep them away from major urban centers, but they adapt. We are not fighting an army. We are fighting a force of nature, and nature is currently winning, leaving us to scavenge in the ruins of our own world. The psychological toll is unprecedented. The constant sound of clicking, the visual terror of towering, alien-looking creatures in our streets creates a permanent state of fear. Cults emerge. People begin worshipping the swarm, believing it to be a sign of the end of the world, leading to more chaos and infighting within our own survivor camps. Mass migration is the only plan left. Everyone tries to get to the cold northern regions where the grasshoppers struggle to function. But there isn't enough space for everyone. The green fear takes over. Any sound in the grass, any movement in the bushes, triggers a fight-or-flight response in every human on Earth, shattering our sanity. Our relationship with nature is permanently severed. We no longer see the outdoors as a place of leisure. It is a hostile, terrifying zone that we must avoid at all costs. We become an indoor species. We work, sleep, and live in reinforced structures, watching the grasshopper world through digital feeds. Isolated and traumatized by the new reality, the bond of humanity is tested. In the fight for the last remaining crops, nations turn on each other, hoarding resources while the swarm eats the world. The sound is the worst part. Scientists discovered the stridulation the sound they make is at a frequency that can permanently damage human hearing over time, deafening us. The waste is toxic. The biological refuse of millions of 2-meter bugs creates massive, hazardous sludge zones where they swarm, poisoning the local water supply. They carry bacteria and pathogens we have no immunity to. The insect plague is both physical and biological, killing us even when they aren't eating our homes. But wait, is it all bad? Scientists realize the grasshopper exoskeleton is a goldmine. It is light, heat-resistant, and tougher than Kevlar, providing us with new armor. We start harvesting the remains of the insects we do kill. A new natural science revolution begins, fueled by the very thing destroying us, giving us a glimmer of hope. Their biofuel potential? Infinite. We begin using the massive energy they store in their legs to power our remaining generators, finally utilizing them as a resource. They are also the ultimate cleaners. They eliminate invasive weeds, clear brush, and essentially mow the world. The landscape changes overnight, clearing paths we never could. Humanity starts living in the clean spaces they leave behind. We adapt. We learn to live in their wake, using their migratory patterns to plan our own movements. Within 2 years, a new architecture emerges. Stilt cities. Buildings lifted high off the ground on reinforced steel beams, keeping us out of reach of their mandibles. Below us, the grasshoppers rule. Above us, humanity survives in interconnected pods. The world is divided horizontally, creating a new vertical civilization. We invent new ways to grow food. Hydroponics, aeroponics, vertical farming, inside sealed, bug-proof glass towers become the standard for every surviving community. The global economy is now based on insect defense, security, specialized materials, and high-tech farming equipment are the only industries that matter to keep us alive. Communities learn to cooperate in ways we never did before. There are no more borders in the way we knew them. We are just the human colony, united against nature. We develop sophisticated monitoring systems. We know exactly where the swarm is at every second. We live in a state of high alert harmony with the insects. The insects eventually settle into a migratory rhythm. We learn to predict their seasons. We become part of their cycle, finally understanding the beast we cannot kill. It is a world where nature dictates the terms. We are no longer the masters. We are the tenants, living on the margins of their massive, clicking kingdom. Is it a nightmare? Yes, but it is also a masterclass in human resilience. We are the planet's most stubborn, adaptable species, and we refuse to go quietly into the night. We build, we adapt, we survive. Even when the world becomes a giant, hopping, clicking, hungry alien landscape that wants to consume everything we have ever built, the sky is no longer blue, but a shimmering haze of wings. We have accepted our new reality, looking out from our stilt towers at the insect world below. We have lost the fields, but we have gained the stars because we had to move up to survive. Our perspective has shifted, literally and figuratively, toward the future. Every city is now a fortress. Every garden is a lab. We have turned our survival into a science, proving that human ingenuity has no limits, even under extreme pressure. We look down at the insects and realize they are just doing what they were designed to do. We are the invaders in their new world, and we have learned our place. The balance of the earth has tilted. The age of the mammal is over. The age of the insect has begun. We are witnesses to a new era of biology and evolution. We are the survivors in a world that never stops moving. The hum is always there, the clicking is always present, but we have learned to exist alongside it. Could we survive it? Only by changing everything we know? We became a new kind of human, tougher and more innovative than we ever were before the swarm. The world is clicking, Can you hear it? It is the sound of nature reclaimed, and the sound of a species that refused to give up, no matter the cost. If you survived this scenario and want to see what happens when the insects stop moving, subscribe, and turn on the alerts right now. On this channel, we survive the impossible every single week. Stay safe, fan, watch the grass, because you never know what is hiding in the shadows.